Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Tricked Before. This time, initiations. Yeah, as you celebrate your new year or whatever star date you're celebrating, we are doing the same. Initiations. While you're initiating, initiate yourself to our Facebook page. It's All Been Tricked Before. A lot of fun out there. Great memes. Great telling you where we're at. And maybe you can tell us where we're at. Follow us on there. Join in the conversation on Facebook. It's All Been Tricked Before. Join in this conversation right now. Initiations. Voyager, it's all been trekked before.
Welcome out to another episode. It's all been trekked before. Your skeleton Voyager crew is here.
This is Stephen.
Olivia James. So we're here to talk about the episode Initiations, First Impressions.
It's not a good first impression there. It felt like a lot of episodes we've seen before kind of mushed together. Not terrible, but I didn't love it, that's for sure. You know, the caves, I'm going to misuse the term alien boy with one of our father figures from our starship. The Kazans I'm going to give them semi-interesting so far. We'll get into some more of that, or the more interesting parts of them. Maybe it's not even them. I like their ship. So it was okay for me. I didn't love it.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of done this episode with every Star Trek series so far, because we had Charlie X, we had the Picard and the Warrior Boy, we had the Jem'Hadar youth on Deep Space Nine, and now we've got this. And I didn't like it better any of those other times. It's never been an episode that's worked.
We're using our man Aron Eisenberg to double up on top of everything. And he's fine with it, but...
I thought I recognized the voice right away, and I'm like, oh, this is like... First I was like, oh, did they just get an Aron Eisenberg type? But, you know, Deep Space Nine's not using him as much, so you might as well, at this point. In later seasons, he wouldn't have time to come over to Voyager, so good to use him, but... Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a little more of his face shown.
Yeah. I mean, very different character for him, I would say. I mean, combative, and Nog can be combative, but still, it did feel different. Yeah, even Aron Eisenberg can't save a script that should just have been forgotten about.
Yeah.
I was not excited about it, and it did not disappoint me because my bar was already low. Like, yep, I didn't think it would be that great, and it wasn't that great.
And we're back to really generic titles, initiations, and
Yep.
I have a feeling next week's title will also be very generic.
Next week it's projections.
Yeah.
I will say, while both of those words are generic, they do fit a little closer to like an actual central theme than the typical generic title.
That's right? Fair.
Because the boy was trying to get initiated into for his name now. Next week, you know, projections are a very, like, I'm pretty sure they said the word a few times. So sometimes it's like barely touches on it, but these seem pretty core.
Yeah, and they seem very, I'll throw them in the Klingon category. And I there was a word that I thought they kept saying, it wasn't honor, but I know he kept talking about his name and earning his name and all that nonsense. But yeah, and then
Zoe asked me why the Klingons were doing that, and I was like, they're not Klingons. They're Kazon.
She nailed it.
She's like, what's the difference? They look the same. I'm like, no, they don't. They don't. But I also get what Kazon, Klingon. I don't know. I felt like they should have developed. I never cared for the Kazon plots overall. I thought they were a pretty lame villain. I was really glad that Voyager's moving, so we're not going to keep having them come back over 7 seasons.
They seem half-baked. Like, we want to have somebody, but we don't want to work on them too hard or make them a major part, other than it's an easy, like, oh, we got trouble with the Kazons, and then they're easily disposed of. Not disposed of, but moved on from.
It seems so bizarre. At this point, they've been traveling for 6 months, as we'll confirm next week, next week's episode. It's so bizarre to me that we're still in the middle of Kazon space if you've been trying to go home 6 months, even with distractions and side trips. And what's even more bizarre is when Kazon we've already seen pop back up, it's like, is Voyager just going like so slow that people could chase them and catch back up? Like, are they not making much progress? I think it takes them until the end of season 2 to get out of Kazon space, and it's like, that makes no sense. You should have been done with the Kazons within the first couple of months.
Yeah, you would think so. And you know, the episode starts with and maybe this is just because we know behind the scenes, just the made up Chakotay native Indian stuff.
Oh my God. So that scene didn't work for lots of reasons. One, of course, was the made up Native American stuff honoring his father's death. But the other was the fact that he took a shuttle in 70 years from home in enemy territory and nobody's monitoring him. I know we're said he didn't go that far, but like somebody, like, he should be telling Voyager, hey, I'm going out. Like, if you're on a cruise ship and you're in the middle of the ocean and you like, I'm going to get on a life raft for a little bit, they're going to keep track of you at all times. It's too dangerous not to. And then to compound the issues of that, there's no like proximity alarm on the shuttle. The Kazon are already there and firing, and the shuttle has not warned him that the Kazon are approaching. Like, if you're not going to have the ship watch you at least set an alarm that when something comes in the sensor range, it alerts you, right? We know the ship can do that.
It was immediately, it's just, and we've had a lot of these before. It's like, we're going to go in the shuttle, but don't worry, nothing can go wrong. Even though there's this possibility of this thing that's out there, and we might lose communications for a couple minutes, but it'll be fine. And we're going to take all of the top officers on it as well. So, but
I guess if we want to play devil's advocate and like justify it, space is huge. It's like if you jump in the middle of the ocean, you don't expect to encounter a shark. You might, but you probably won't. So it's probably safe enough to be out there. And then,
I've done it.
They should be able to call for help whenever. But still, I feel like just a couple simple precautions, like a proximity alarm or somebody monitoring the situation.
And I'm usually Mr. Anti-holodeck, as we'll discuss, I bet, next week. But why can't he go into some setting in the holodeck and still achieve his thing?
I would say for a Native American ritual, you probably don't want to go in a holodeck. You probably want to keep things as natural as possible, as you can in a spaceship. A spaceship many light years from your planet.
And I don't want to tell him his faith or anything, but it was just like, But yeah, because then my next line is great. Another alien, and this is just because I've learned this word, Buildings Roman, coming of age story, which I don't know if we got all the way there, but he definitely had an arc. I don't know if we learned a lot, but he seemed to have learned a little bit. But
they put him in a shuttle that could not even stand. At first, I'm like, oh, Chakotay's firing on the, like, threatening him. Like, I didn't realize it was the Kazon shuttle because the Kazon shuttles look just like the Kazon ships but smaller, and the scale wasn't clear. But then, like, Chakotay easily blew him out of the water. So who sent him on this mission in the first place? Like, it just didn't make any sense that they would send him so poorly armed.
Yeah.
Then Chakotay rescues him, which is, like, I guess Chakotay has gone full Starfleet now. That he just can't even, because I feel like Chakotay as a Maquis person should have just let them get blown up, right? Like, nobody has to know.
And as soon as one of them got beamed on and looked at him, and then I was like, here we go. Oh boy.
Well, and then of course we have to do the whole like, can't tell a story in the cell phone age because you can just call. Comm's got to be down because you could just call.
Yep.
Then we finally check in with Voyager, and we have a Janeway Neelix scene. And I feel like this scene was written that fans of the show, viewers over the hiatus, had complained that Neelix was annoying and didn't have any value. So rather than show us that Neelix is not annoying and has value, which they do a little bit later in the episode, but it was like, Janeway's just going to tell us he's awesome and his food's great. And I'm like, but that's not consistent with anything we've seen of him.
Well, she says, and your meals are getting to be, almost certainly a highlight of every day. And I thought she was going to say edible or not bad or something along those lines, but she
she did too much, right?
Yeah.
I just kept thinking she's buttering him up for something, which I guess she kind of was, but not. It still felt like it was just retconning.
It felt like, I'm going to tell you, you're pretty good at that, so you'll leave me alone. And I thought Neelix was fine. He didn't annoy me too much there. And then I ended up enjoying him in the episode when he actually was contributing value later, showing that he did have value.
I did enjoy that part, but I will say in this scene with Janeway, when you're asking us not to think he's annoying and that he's valuable, him going over and straightening Janeway's photo was just like, so do you want us to think he's annoying or not? And he's upset because he's not included in a holodeck defense training program. And I'm like, I kind of want to see him include. I wish that had been the B plot, is he puts on armor and has to go into like actual combat.
I want to see him in a holodeck. I want to see him in that too and fail. But maybe I guess they were just like leaned into it, like all the fan critics, and they didn't go like, Lucas, like Jar Jar Binks, you're out of here. They're like, we're going to give you more Neelix and we're going to give him something to do and you're going to shut up about him.
I mean, I do think after season 1, he gets far less annoying and they start finding ways to use him well. So I don't remember finding Neelix annoying halfway through the series. It's more
I'll
just
tell you, he's not my annoying for this episode. So yeah,
mine
yeah,
neither.
yeah.
Chakotay, back to Chakotay, he's talking to the Kazon ship on the comms because apparently he can call them even though he can't call Voyager.
Uh-huh.
And he looks at the youth. He's like, he looks about like 13 and I think he said 13 or some age. And I was like, wait, when did Chakotay start learning how Kazon aged? I don't feel like he spent enough time with them to be able to estimate at a glance. Like if you're talking about Klingons look 10 by the time they're 4. How do you know what a 13-year-old Kazon looks like?
That's a good question. Yeah. I guess he's just using Earth terms, or Earth, what he knows about
Nobody
Earth.
correct. But if it was wildly off, you think the Kazon would correct him.
Yeah.
Voyager finds the debris that they wonder if it could be a shuttle. They mention there's electroceramic in it, which I think was just supposed to make you think, yeah, the Kazon are pretty basic. They're still using ceramic in their spaceships. But instead, they're immediately like, well, we can't rule out it's Chakotay. It could be Chakotay. And in the past, anytime you come to debris, you know right away what type of vessel it is. The Kazon and Starfleet aren't similar enough. It shouldn't take like beaming on an analysis.
Yeah, I felt that was definitely a, and we talk about all the time, like, we know certain people are going to live or whatever, obviously, but at the same time, there's still episodes where like this, I could see them feeling grim about that or not being not being optimistic, but yeah, it didn't feel like much of a, oh no, is this the end of Chakotay? And obviously we knew it wasn't, but I did
at
write
that
down.
point we didn't. I don't think we did. I don't think we'd known yet that he was alive. Like I don't think they showed us what happened.
Oh, that hadn't happened. Maybe I was.
But also, yeah, it was duh. Of course he's fine.
Yeah, when they bring him to the Kazon trophy room, he says, so they brought you here to see your first human, Chakotay. Take a good look. You won't see any hate in my eyes. I'm a gentle man from a gentle people who wish you no harm. Which, I guess by then we are a gentle people. I guess we've talked about this before.
I think it's talking specifically about his tribe.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then I just, the way he said gentle man, I just wrote, Chakotay, he's an officer and a gentle man.
So I did look up who wrote this pile of crap because it was so bad. And it's actually executive story editor Kenneth Biller, who was an executive story editor through season 1, but he only has a couple of teleplay by credits in season 1 right at the end for Faces and Jetrel. Just teleplay, not written by.
Yeah.
Those two of the last 3 episodes. And then in season 2, this is the first of the series that he actually has written by, not just teleplay. But it looks like he's got several more teleplay and written by this season. And even though he's done being the executive story editor after season 2, he has a bunch of written by credits in the rest of the series, especially seasons 3, 5, and 7. He was actually a co-showrunner in the 7th season. So I don't know how you take somebody that wrote this and eventually rely on them to write a lot of scripts and then eventually make them co-showrunner at the end. I don't get it.
Yeah, it would seem like a similar skill set, but maybe not. But because we didn't in my mind, we didn't like Jetrel or any of his other episodes either. But
not particularly. I mean, if we're looking at the rankings for the season, Jetrel was Jetrel's number 5 of 15.
Okay.
Faces was number 12 of 15.
Okay.
So both of those he just had teleplay by, so it's not all on him, right? You have to kind of clean up the script and do your best with it. So yeah, Jetrel we kind of liked, I guess. Back with the Kazon here, before they take him to see the kids, the main Kazon, which one is it? There's 2 main Kazon. Which one's the Maj? Is it Razik or Haliz?
The leader is Razik.
Maj Razik. Okay, so this was Haliz then that was talking to him, played by Tim Dazarn. Yeah, definitely. Looking at Tim Dazarn's face, it's definitely him. Best known for Cabin in the Woods, Fight Club, the 2002 Spider-Man movie, and some other stuff. Looks like he's got 150 acting credits.
He had I think it's him. He did a Seinfeld too. He was in the episode The Showerhead when Newman and Kramer are looking for black market shower heads with good pressure. He's the black market salesman on the street, selling them the Magnum 450, or he says he doesn't have it, but he finds it for him. So, yeah, he's got a good over 200 credits. So he did well.
150 acting credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does have one other Voyager credit in the 7th season, different character, obviously, I
Okay.
would hope, obviously. And he's got one DS9 credit in a few years, also a
Yeah.
different
Okay.
character. So Trek will use him a few times. But he is talking to Carr, and
Mhm.
Carr's upset that he forgives Carr, and then
Yeah.
he kisses Carr, and then he's like, "You're invited to dinner," and Carr's like, "No, please, no." And I'm like, he apologized, I forgave him. He kissed him and he invited him to dinner. What part of that's scary and bad? And
Yeah.
I, I wanted it to pay off, like have a dinner scene where it's like, okay, now you're gonna drink the poison because that's what we do ritually. But instead, they skipped past all that. It's already after dinner when we see him again, and it's like, okay,
Yeah. It feels like a death cult. And I know that's weird to say because in our time it feels like we're being run by a death cult, but
we are.
um,
MAGA is a death cult. That is
yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
They did do the misleading thing where they told Chakotay that like he's gonna his executions later, but it was him executing Carr, not him
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
executed. Because I was at first like, why are you gonna? They call up for food for him. Why are you gonna feed him before you execute him? I guess Last Supper or something, but they didn't. I don't know. It didn't seem like that.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird. And I was eating whatever I was eating before this, and it made me think of, what would you eat for your last supper? And it also made me think, I don't know if I care, but
Well, Chakotay's told if he kills Carr, then he can go free. Do you really think they would let him? That doesn't seem consistent with like other Kazon stuff we've seen.
no, I was immediately like, that doesn't sound true. That doesn't sound right. They'd be like, good job. All right, now back in the box. Yeah.
Yeah. And why let Chakotay hold that other guy hostage? So they just get through telling us, like, hey, if this kid can't kill you, then he's forfeit. He needs to die.
Right.
And then Chakotay, like, pulls a phaser on weapon, disruptor, whatever it is, on the Kazon, and they're all like, okay, we won't shoot, we'll
Right.
back off. And it's like, wait, I thought, does your life mean something or not?
Right.
It doesn't
Yeah.
quite make sense. It's not consistent.
I guess the higher you move up, the more you feel like your life is valued, or you just, and again, this is very indicting of many people in our society as well. People are like, well, this is what I say, but actually, when push comes to shove, this is what I believe.
It
Always
matters
be
if you hurt the CEO. It doesn't matter if you hurt the workers.
right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. As long as they buy into it, yeah. Then
The CEO being Razik, played by Patrick Kilpatrick. I like the name Patrick Kilpatrick,
mm,
who's best known for Minority Report, Death Warrant, Last Man Standing, and Eraser. Last Man Standing, the 1996 film, not the Tim Allen sitcom. And his other Trek credit is another Voyager credit that he hasn't done yet. Down the road, different character. Thankfully, we never see these characters again. So no
I
Seinfeld
I
credits, no on that one.
concur. No.
Yeah, there's a picture of him as a Native American right up at the front, and I was like, oh, is he in the original Star Trek? Was he in that like episode of Mirnami or whatever with Kirk?
Mm,
And then they just under the Kazon, you just can't tell he's old, but no, he was in The Quick and the Dead in 1987, and he's playing a Native American that looks like he's from an episode of the '60s Star Trek.
I like the look of the Kazon ship. I can't remember if we've seen one that looked like this before or not.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they only made the one design.
okay. And maybe if I liked it before, I still like it. If I didn't like it before, I've changed my mind. But yeah, I just thought it's a little different. It reminds me of a mix of like, and we did our special episode on Trek Magazine, which would always have these great cover shots of or drawings of like a version of the Enterprise and then other cool ships and stuff and worlds. That I was like, and then combining that with like, I don't know if you ever saw Hardware Wars. This is one of the first spoofs of Star Wars. It was just like an iron in space and all different things like that. So it looked a little bit like an iron looking up at an iron as well. So, but I just thought it was nothing about it made sense. So I kind of like that. Nothing about it was like, oh, that's exactly what you do with a ship or how it would look. So I thought it was a little different, a little cool. So I'll give the case
The
on.
cargo's with Chakotay, and they flee, end up on the moon, as you do, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah.
That's when Voyager finds Chakotay's real shuttle, which has blown up as well. And we have the whole dramatic thing about, like, nope, it's definitely Chakotay's shuttle. B'Elanna could tell immediately, because of course you could tell immediately. We didn't have to see the hull picture to know. But
Yeah.
I
I
did appreciate the funny part of the doctor in sickbay with all the shuttle pieces all over, because they wanted him to
mhm.
examine for organic material to see if Chakotay was on board. And of course, like, he can't leave sickbay. He could
Right.
go to the holodeck though. They couldn't give up the holodeck to let him go
Yeah.
there. I feel like
There
that's better
you
than
go.
junking up all the biobeds.
Yeah.
It is starting to get annoying that he can't leave sick bay, as I think next episode plays to a little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. We'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good bit so far. But
It's made for some humor, but then you only get him for 10 seconds in the episode instead of an actual
that's
plot.
the problem.
If it wasn't Bob Picardo, you might not care, but it's Bob Picardo, so.
Yeah.
Tar can't kill or steal from Chakotay, apparently. He's already been weakened and softened, despite his outward hostility. And I'm glad that Chakotay later is like, yeah, no, I was awake the whole time, because I was like, yeah, I can't believe Chakotay would just I mean, I guess at some point, if you're like Chakotay, you're brave, you're noble, you're whatever, you're like, you know what? He kills me, it's the risk I got to take. I can't just stay up all night and worry about it. I got to sleep sometime, but.
It looks like the writing went through a couple of different. It started one way and went another.
That could explain some of the inconsistencies and things that don't make sense.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. The executive producer Micah Pillar, and this is from Wikipedia, was displeased with the depiction of the Kazon in Biller's first draft of the episode, where they were supposed to be analogous to street gangs in Los Angeles. They were instead coming across as warmed over Klingons, which is kind of yep. He wasn't wrong, but it didn't change in the second draft either. I'm trying to find where they filmed because it looked like one of our usual spots, but I haven't found anything yet.
So this was actually Vasquez. They were at Vasquez Rocks.
They were okay.
According to Memory Alpha. Yeah, so. They did say they were careful to avoid the most well-known jagged peaks that we were all familiar with, but yeah, back at Vasquez. They did say this was the first episode filmed for season 2. The 37s was filmed for season 1. And on Garrett Wong and Dr. McNeil's podcast, they said they thought there were like 4 or 5 episodes filmed for season 1 held over. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see. We'll see when we get to there. But yeah, it was definitely on location. But it did seem like it could have been the same location that the 37s was filmed at. I wasn't quite sure. I guess I should look at the 37s and see if they went to Vasquez Rocks. Probably, right? That's where Star Trek always.
They were. I think they were at. They might have been in a different one for that, actually.
Bronson Canyon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get the scene of Neelix in the captain's chair, which is a little jarring. I'm glad Paris basically takes over because I didn't want Neelix in charge there. Yes. Paris in command. While that was cool, it was also like the criminal's the one in command. I guess you're trusting him now, but wouldn't Harry Kim get top pick over Paris at this point?
I mean, I like seeing Paris in command. I think he makes sense. I like the character. He's a Kirk kind of guy. But I wrote Neelix is helping, and he actually, and I know he did this before with when they've come across certain people that they don't know, but he's familiar with. But I as goofy as he is in that first scene, I enjoyed this scene of him almost feeling at ease in the captain's chair and being able to help. And then Tor's like, then I guess the captain's going to be greeted by some unexpected visitors, and he puts a nice positive spin on it. Well, at least we bought her some time. But I'm not sure everyone's convinced that's as great as he does, but I liked it. And then, of course, once they get down there, of course, and this will be the only Star Wars reference. Well, I already referenced George Lucas, but it's a trap, of course. And
Voyager, the shuttle was destroyed, so I was curious about that. Voyager supposedly has the capacity to carry 8 shuttles. Over the course of the series, 11 will be destroyed. But they do say that normally they assume that Voyager did have the capability to build shuttles.
Yeah.
So maybe. I mean, obviously, in like Star Trek Prodigy and stuff, we see them basically replicate shuttles. Or
Well, at least they still got. I think we're at 37 last time we checked in with Shane.
Torpedoes.
37 photon torpedoes. Yeah.
It does say Chakotay's medicine bundle is lost in this episode, obviously, because it would have been destroyed when the shuttle blew up. So when we see it later episodes, he must have replicated it again. I guess it wasn't that sacred.
Oh, yeah. Replicator and the transporter solve a lot of problems.
Sure do. Or maybe he just keeps a spare in his quarters.
Yeah.
But I like that Neelix actually does seem to know the Kazon and is able to handle them correctly and expertly. That was good.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate that Paris said, well, we can't transport and we can't land the ship because you got to you just landed the ship. You have to account for that now.
Yep.
We get some backstory that the Kazon were a lower class of two species on their homeworld when they revolted for their freedom. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It does give some more color to their behavior.
Maybe they still have an inferiority complex. Maybe that's what kind of drives them.
Yeah. Chakotay says he can be brain dead for 2 minutes and tells them to prepare for a code white. Brain dead for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
That seems excessive.
24th century technology, it's pretty amazing.
I know, but I don't know. I don't know how Kazon disruptors work, but I'd be nervous to even attempt that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to test that either. I mean, yeah, I like the gamble, and I guess maybe we're some of this is speaking to, hey, we're not like all you people in this galaxy or all you or whatever. Although obviously Neelix and Kes are Neelix and Kes, not Neelix and Kes. But that these guys are all good people and Chakotay's a good person, which I feel like we kind of know. He's so good that he wouldn't, he's like, well, I'm willing to risk my life this much to save this kid who's been nothing but a jerk for the most part. But
that's the hero Starfleet stuff, and we can tell. I guess Chakotay is former Starfleet, but he's certainly fallen right back into full Starfleet.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. And I guess maybe he's got a soft spot for children, but my alternate episode is when they're like, yeah, you got to kill this kid, that he kills one of the other kids just to send a message and get out of there. And he gets in, and he's just like, you want to mess with me? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And just doesn't kill all the kids, but he shoots one, and that's just enough time to shoot the other Kazons. And then we go down a dark. I mean, that's already dark, and then he has to recover from that on the rest of the journey home. But so that was my alternate episode.
Nice. Yeah. My alternate episode was Chakotay does the ritual or doesn't, and then goes back to the ship, and it's uneventful and nothing happens. And no, that doesn't make a good episode, but the episode was so bad I didn't know how to salvage it. So I was like, let's just do it as a web short and be done with it.
See, I like that we both went the other way. I was like, let's lean into this and go dark. And you're like, you know what? And I think we talked about this before, like, and I used to get in fights with people. I shouldn't say fights, arguments, discussions, conversations about, can you have a show without conflict? And we've talked about it in reference to TNG, which definitely held it back. But I think you can have a episode or definitely interludes where there isn't conflict. I think like some episodes when they start off and it's like, and we get into this a lot, and I think we're getting into it next week. Yeah, we will a little bit, but just the idea of like, all right, this sounds awesome. They're going to explore this new thing. What if they just explored this new thing? And I feel like there's been a couple episodes where they almost got there, where they almost got to a whole episode of TNG where it's like, oh yeah, we're just exploring there. And then there's the other times where it's like, well, something goes wrong with that, and then you got to put a hat on a hat, and there's 4 different things going on, which I think is fine in like a 2-parter and the ones with bigger scope. But yeah, I would have preferred either mine or yours to what we got for sure. Yeah, in this instance, the alternate episode this would have been a lot more interesting than where we ended up going.
Tar kills the Maj, and then he gets to rejoin the clan. That doesn't seem consistent either. Like, I don't get what the consistency is with this species. Value of life and who gets to stay and who has to be executed.
Yeah.
I guess they're aliens, so maybe we can say, like, we just don't understand this alien culture.
Yeah, there you go.
Makes sense to me.
And I couldn't completely, I guess Haliz takes over, but was that kind of his plan all along? Was I'm planning on taking him over, which again would be, I guess that's more of a Romulan thing I guess it's a Klingon thing too. In my mind, I'm thinking Romulan, that you always want to be, and maybe actually I'm thinking of the Mirror Universe is what I'm thinking of, where they're always like, yeah, the goal is always to overthrow the captain and take over. So we still don't know enough about the Kazons, but he seemed like the kinder, gentler Kazon, if you will. So, which now in my mind, I'm like, well, maybe this is just, Razik had it coming to him. He was abusive and not a great leader, and maybe so. Again, we don't condone political violence on this podcast. I don't think that's political violence, but
no. I will say I don't approve of assassination at all, but Razik was a terrible person and deserved to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the world's better off without him, But we don't condone political violence, and
That's
that's
right.
not what should have happened.
That's
He's
it.
just and he's a terrible person. You know,
Yeah, to quote
did
Anakin
not
Skywalker,
realize we
yeah,
put this back around so nicely.
he has to be tried in a court of law. Really, Anakin Skywalker? Sorry, another Star Wars reference and a criticism. Kes ends up helping as well.
Yep.
So I appreciated that she.
You can't say Kes helped though, because all of Starfleet is evil and must be destroyed in their terrorist organization, according to the Kazon. So,
but I like Kes here. The Kazons, and I feel like the kid said it more than anybody, but I thought somebody else did too, that, well, it changes every day. So I'm like, well, these guys love to improvise, these Kazons. I'll give them that, even though they seem pretty rote. And I guess we never really saw, every time they're like, well, it changes every day. It was like, yeah, but it doesn't seem like it is. Today's not that day. I want to be there when it is that day, where all the stuff it changes every day. You never know. I mean, I guess we are at the end. We are there. It is that day where Raziq's out and Haley's is in, and maybe tomorrow will be truly a new day. But
maybe.
And then
I don't know.
I only have two more notes. One is, once again, talking about how terrible Paramount Plus is. And again, it may just be the way it interacts with my specific TV, but I kept having, it took like 4 times to get the episode going. And then I will say this, their app on my phone, awesome. On my TV, not. So it may just be the TV and it don't talk well, but on my phone, booted right up. So, but I still wanted to watch on the TV, and related to that, it's almost impossible to sit through credits on Paramount Plus with my TV setup, because I'll click on, I want to watch the credits, and it's like, no, you're not, you're watching whatever the next episode is. And like, okay, well, it depends on the time, but it actually worked this time, and I got to listen to watch the whole credits. And the Voyager theme, not that I ever disliked it, but I'm starting to like it a lot. So I wish Shane was here to hear that, but we can talk about it when he's back.
The Voyager and DS9 themes. The only Star Trek theme I might want to skip through when we get to is Star Trek Enterprise. But
that's what everyone says. I mean, John,
you'll have to be the judge yourself.
Yeah.
You'll be able to sing along to it.
Yeah, my friend John Buster, he thinks that's like reason number one. People are like, I don't know about that show, and didn't give it a fair shake. But
it also wasn't called Star Trek Enterprise till like halfway through its run. When they launched it, they were very clear it wasn't Star Trek Enterprise. It was
right, just Enterprise, right? What does that mean?
Just Enterprise. But then before the end, as they should have done from the beginning. I mean, I'm still mad they dropped the numbering after Star Trek 6. I think it should have been Star Trek 7 Generation, Star Trek 8 First Contact. Yeah. And in the 2009 series, they dropped the colon, which that just drives me bonkers. Star Trek Beyond, I'm always going to write it with the colon. I know it doesn't have one. I don't care. Into Darkness and Beyond, that ticks me off so much. Also, so lazy you can't even think of a title for your 2009 movie. You just call it Star Trek. Screw you.
Right. Yeah. Well,
we all call it Star Trek 2009 now, but we should all call it The Bad Star Trek.
I need to revisit that again, because I feel like I saw
it in a few years.
Yeah, I saw it opening day, and then like the midnight showing, and we were jacked up about it, and I enjoyed it. And I think they were so much like, well, Star Trek's back, so we're just gonna call it Star Trek because this is the new Star Trek. But not perfect. I still like the first one though.
Thank goodness that didn't take off and become Star Trek. I'm glad all the TV shows went back to the old universe.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely.
And we didn't get into some multiverse saga. The mirror universe is enough. We don't visit that every once in a while. We don't need the TVA and whatever.
We have alternate planets and galaxies. We don't need alternate universes. So, and didn't you say that the DS9 theme is going to change a little coming up?
Season 4. Yeah, so you might want to rewatch the old one right before so you can notice. It's the same theme. They just I think they speed it up slightly. They give it more instrumentation. It seems grander, but it's still the same theme. And it's not that much of a difference. But people say they like the second version better.
Okay. Gonna try.
But it's pretty close to the original.
Yeah.
So maybe just seems a little peppier, a little more energy, a little more strength.
There's not percussion or anything though. It's not a backbeat or anything.
I don't think so. No, like there's the changes are subtle. They're not significant.
Yeah.
My last note was we just end with Chakotay praying to his dad. Oh, no. I know that's, I do. I've never been into that mysticism stuff anyway. And the ancestral spirits. I'm really into history, but I like my history like grounded in facts. And I
Yeah.
know you can make the argument, and it's legitimate, that we don't know a lot of true facts because it's always skewed and biased or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I just don't. I've never been into that kind of thing anyway when it's real, let alone. Although
Right.
my perspective would be, well, it's all made up. So how's this
Right.
made up any different than the other made up? But
That's a good point.
but then
Yeah.
that's sacrilegious, and I don't want to dishonor culture that I just
Well,
don't
that's not
understand.
that. Yeah, because
Yeah, maybe it's just lack of understanding on my part. Maybe I value it a lot more if I came from that background, or
yeah, it's like one of my old man tropes is, I'll be like, oh, the names of these bands I hear on the radio, they sound made up. And it's like, of course they do, because they are made up. Somebody was like,
they're
this
all
is
made up.
your name. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I was born and raised Catholic all till I was 18, and then I immediately rejected it. So I have some experience of rejecting traditions and myths and fantasies made up and taught as if they were real. It was directed by Winrich Colby, one of our regulars. Let's get to the rankings. I'm going to rank the episode first. Better or worse than the 37s?
I'm going to say worse.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I already
got to go lower.
Absolutely.
We're going to need
not
Keith
even
to come in for the tiebreaker. Keith and
no,
Shane.
God no. God no. Who was your annoyance this week?
The boy, full name Carden, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, but IMDb is just Carr.
The transcript says he calls him a boy called Carden when he's asking for the.
Yeah, there was definitely a longer
I actually
name.
watched over a boy called Carden, but that made Either way, he was the annoying because he never grew on me. I can tell you that much. And maybe
me neither.
And there is and we'll get into this next week too. But there's an element, spoiler. But there's an element of like I said right from the bat. It's like we've seen this episode. Give me something a little different, and it was just it was barely even variations on a theme, from the Jem'Hadar boy. Those episodes were actually better, the Jem'Hadar one, and even I thought, the one with Worf, that's his actual son, so that's a little different. And then I was trying to think of the one, the kid that, there've been a couple of the warrior boys, and they're trying to learn or whatever. But might be the worst, and again, maybe it's because we've seen it done better, and we've seen it plenty. I mean, I guess Charlie X might be the mother of all these, right? He's the first orphan
I hated that
up and is a jerk, and yeah.
So I did not choose the kid, and I think he did not annoy me that much because he wasn't played by an annoying child actor who isn't very good.
And I'm
played by Aron Eisenberg.
Yeah, I thought he was fine.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, because Aron Eisenberg is not a kid; he's just short. Right. And maybe casting an adult actor is what it needed to be, like, at least have the acting.
Yeah.
The fault was in the acting. I picked Razik, the Maj.
Yeah, I mean, that's worthy.
He was awful.
For sure.
Who are you having a drink with?
So when they beam down, it's Janeway, Tuvok. Is Paris the other one with him?
No, Paris is on the bridge. He's in command.
Oh, that's right. Janeway, Tuvok, and
maybe.
Yes, Kes goes with them. Yeah, and then it's a random security guard, and I'm like, he's a classic thing. Is like, all right, he's eating it, but he didn't. So I'm gonna have a drink with him and be like, how'd you do it, man?
Because there's just not that many security officers on Voyager, so they can't afford to kill him like the original series did.
That's a good point too. That's a good point.
I'm having a drink with Neelix. He stood up into that Kazon and saved their bacon and improved his worth. So for that scene later when he's on the bridge, I'm giving it to Neelix.
He is my inspiring for this week. Yeah.
For that reason or similar?
Is Neelix, because I thought, good on you, buddy.
I mean, as much as I hated the plot and the way it worked out, I have to give the inspiration to Chakotay because the amount of trust and faith he placed in Starfleet's ideals and principles, how he was willing to put his own neck on the line for them, stand up for the boy. Like, he truly acted heroic in this episode, and I wish the episode had been good so that we'd care about it. But if you just take his actions in isolation, he was really noble and heroic and deserving of praise. Yeah,
it's one of those, we talked about a lot, and I know we're going to see a lot more Chakotay than when we think about the Beverly episodes and some of the cutaway episodes in TNG and all that. But
so how Beverly never got a good episode?
Yeah.
Chakotay is kind of the Beverly of this series.
Okay, all right. I was wondering if we'd get better. I mean, I enjoy him within his other episodes, obviously.
when we get into Chakotay romance, there's a couple of things that are better than average for him, but yeah, I just don't think I don't think they ever really knew how to use him. I think they've done a pretty good job using him in Prodigy,
Yes.
but and they hinted like the stuff between him and Janeway is great. Their
Hmm.
chemistry and their dynamic
Yes.
and stuff together is wonderful. They
Hmm.
do also give Chakotay like a running love interest near the end of the show that makes as much sense as Joey and Rachel and Friends,
Who
aka
are the
none.
sisters?
Like why put these two characters together?
Who are the sisters that they talk about?
The Delancey sisters?
Yeah, is
The
that who he
Delaney?
ends up dating?
No. I won't spoil it, but
All
they
right.
do a really badly. It's like Worf and Troy in season 7 of Next
Yeah.
Gen. Like Voyager
Yeah.
has a similar romance at the end that you're just like, dudes. I compared to Friends because not only do we have the Joey Chandler romance that doesn't make sense in the end, but we
Yeah.
also have the Monica Chandler, or sorry, the Joey Rachel. We also have the Monica Chandler where two characters you don't ever think about putting together are suddenly a couple and it works, and you're like, okay.
Are we talking about Cass? We're not talking about Cass and Neelix, right?
Cass doesn't stick around the whole time.
I know.
So
I knew that coming.
She does make it halfway through, a little bit less, but almost halfway. And I'm counting the days till we get rid of her. She's been less annoying lately, but just not good.
And maybe this is just the contrarian in me, and just coming in with different eyes on it. But I actually like her. But I
a lot of people do.
I can see why people are like, enough already. I can see why people might go that direction. But
I think part of it is she is just the type of woman that I just have never wanted to be around very much. And it's a personality conflict, not so much as like she did anything or there's anything wrong with her. Just like, it's just the personality that's soft. I don't know. Not empathetic because I like empathy. I like compassion.
Right.
But there's just something about, I know she can be strong. She doesn't seem like it though. I don't know. There's just something about it that's, to me, I don't love.
And obviously I find her cute or whatever, but also then she's always singing, talking in the kind of that breathy kind of thing going on, which is, I don't know if all of her people speak that way, but regardless, we'll keep hanging there, Cass. We'll keep talking about it.
We'll talk about it all the way until she leaves.
Yeah.
So anyway, next week, projections. The Doctor tries to determine what is real and what is not when he's activated due to what it appears to be a ship-wide emergency.
Oh boy.
Until then, live long.
And never work with children or animals.
Or if you're going to work with a child, cast an adult to play the child.
And prosper.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's Got the Time?